Now, you're probably wondering, Handsome, why are you in the same clothes as your last video? That's because it's a double upload, baby. Double upload day. Hello. I took some time off, grieving this, that, and the third. By the way, that's honestly the topic of my last video. Check that one out. It's pretty fire. In the spirit of February, because it's not only my people's month, you know what I'm saying? It's also the month of love. And so why not do some self-love? Because you deserve healthy love from yourself too. We're gonna do the first joint. I don't think we're gonna get through the full joint today. So it'll be parts. We'll do parts. But I'm gonna be doing this all month. This will be the month of self-love. Hello. Let's go. Okay, so I'll shuffle them up real quick. It's either I'm separating these by level, or I'm separating them by just every couple of cards. I don't know if I'll get through this entire thing by the end of the month, but I'm gonna try. I'm going to try. Low-key, I might make it I might do this as a first episode, but then I'll make it like a compilation. But we'll see. First card. What do I no longer settle for? I wish I could show y'all the card. I no longer settle for, I'd say, this is gonna sound crazy. Not really, but it's like, I no longer settle for monogamy. I no longer settle for lack of communication. I no longer settle for things that conform to the status quo. You know what I mean? I always felt like I didn't know, for a long time, I didn't know that there were other options. You know what I mean? I didn't know that I could be different and that there were people who were different like me. I knew I didn't conform like gender-wise before I even knew like there were other gender identities other than man and woman. And then when I found out that there were, I was like, oh, you're telling me I could have went as this the whole time? Like this was an option? And so it's just things like that where it's like, why would I ever want to be something that I'm not? You know, why would I ever want to be just like everyone else when I'm not like everyone else? Literally, like, this is why I was made fun of growing up. Like, I was bullied. People didn't like me because I was different. And I had to embrace it, But I guess there was always a part of me that wanted or tried to cling on to things that would make me normal or even just make things more comfortable. But it's like, that's not fair to me, So next card. Who did I compare myself to most often as a teen and why? Oddly enough, I really didn't do much comparisons to myself. Like, I didn't really compare myself. But you know who did compare themselves or had make comparisons for me? My mom. My mom would always compare me to my uncle, who was like, or I won't even say was, but is a felon. And he was aggressive. He was a lot of things. And they always compared me to them just like to spite me, like in spite, like just to slight me, to always be like, oh, you're going to end up like them if you don't like try and be better or stuff like that. But that was never the case. Like, I was genuinely never like there was an argument to be made that there were comparable traits, but there were very vast differences, especially in just the way we grew up, But that's neither here nor there. But personally, I don't think I ever really compared myself because of that. Like, I didn't like the comparison. So why would I start comparing myself? Maybe I've compared myself subconsciously to like my best friend, my brother, David. I probably do that a lot because that's the closest nigga to me, and we are alike in a lot of ways. So it's just natural for me to like sometimes like compare and contrast between us. But that was out of love, and that's just like, it was like harmless. It wasn't like I was ever trying to be him. But I have always aspired, like he's always inspired me, and it's always kind of been like a mutual thing. So yeah. What have I grown to love about myself? A lot of things, actually. I've grown to love my body. I've grown to love my talent, my writing style, the way I make music. I've grown to love my smile. I've grown to love my face. I used to like want, I don't know, like a more defined like cheekbone. Crazy as it sound, like I always like, you know the thing like that trend like where niggas is mewing and like they got the like the cut jaw. Like obviously I never cared for the mewing thing. I think the mewing thing is actually stupid. But like having a like defined jaw, I was like that could be fine. But like honestly, having rounded and having a bunch of hair, like I feel like it works for me. Like you know what I mean. I love my hair. Even though for the life of me, I'm not the best at taking care of it, but like when I had braids, I started getting braids and stuff like that. I definitely started liking my hair a lot more than I think mostly. I've grown to love my personality. I've grown to love, and not even just to love, but just accept like a lot of things about myself that I thought I needed to keep private. I thought I need to constantly work on, but yeah, there's things I want to work on and stuff like that. But it's like it's nothing that's inherently wrong or bad. Like it's just stuff that's part of life. Trauma and stuff. But yeah, who's made you feel good for being who you are? Send them this card. Okay, bet I'm gonna send it to them, and I'll send them this video. But who's made me feel good for being who I am? My brother, David, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like we was just talking about like how we butt heads and stuff like that. But like we was just on the phone and basically he was like, bro, we don't really butt heads. You just be right. Like, and I'm like, damn, bro. Like, I mean, if we put it that way, my brother, he honestly, yeah, like no, literally, my brother's accepted everything, and it's like I've explained things to him I thought that no one in this world would ever get or understand, and he sees me and he's like, nah, bro, I feel you. Like, and it's not even just like I feel you. He'll literally communicate exactly what I'm saying to him, and it's like I'm like, oh my god, like you do get it, like you do understand. That's my nigga for real. Like that's my dog. That's my like I'll go to war. I'll go to war for that nigga. No cap. No cap. And it goes both ways. Like he'll tell me like we was just having a conversation about some important shit, and he was telling me like what he felt like he had to do. And I'm like, listen, dog, I understand it. Do what you gotta do. I'm gonna support you any way that I can. So it's a mutual thing, I'm definitely gonna send this to him for sure because yeah, like he do it. He do it. And there's others, but you know what I'm saying? Off top, off top. What could you have not done any better? I don't think I could have been a better child. I think I did everything I could in my childhood because I was literally my life was so restricted. I didn't know of anything better. Like I literally could not conceptualize of anything better than what I had at that time. So realistically, there wasn't anything I could do, especially since like my parents' words were law. Like there was no getting around it. Like literally it was only if they changed their mind. Like there was nothing that could be said or done when they had their mind made up unless they changed it. There was no communication. There was no talking it through at all. There was a thin veil of the idea that it was possible, but they had too much of a temper. We knew, or at least I knew, that realistically trying to speak to them would ultimately end up in me either getting hurt or getting punished. So it was pointless. So yeah, I couldn't have been a better kid. I played the cards that were dealt to me, and it worked out more or less. Next, what's a recent change I've noticed in myself? Funny enough, I feel like I've definitely grown to have more of a temper. I've been a lot more jaded recently, just with the state of the world, the stuff that's been going on, and just my own mental instability, and with what's going on in my personal life. Like I noticed that I've let go of a lot of things that I genuinely enjoyed about who I used to be, and now I'm working on gaining those back. Like these aren't things that I've noticed and I'm just like, oh well, it is what it is. It's like I've noticed them. I'm like, I don't think I particularly enjoy all of the things that I've become, or I'm becoming, or I'm seeing in myself recently. And so I'm like, okay, what can I do? Or how can I go back, or not even go back, but how can I re-encapsulate some of the things that I enjoyed that made me as I am today? And I've started by like starting to get back into a routine. I'm watching TV less. I'm playing games more. Um, I'm doing this. I'm I'm writing letters again. I'm reading more again. And honestly, it's done wonders. I love it because these were like pillars of who I was: reading, writing, creating, showing people love just for the sake of loving them, like doing nice things just for the sake of being nice. Like those were things that I loved doing and loved being, that I'm trying to get back to. What came easily to me as a child? Writing was really easy, and reading. And I don't want to say learning in general, because there were definitely things I struggled with. Like, I was a quick learner, but there were things I definitely struggled with. Like, I still suck at math. I still suck at math. And games, like playing games, like I would get really, I was really good at like learning and understanding a game pretty quickly. But as I got older, I think a lot of these things that I was like really good at, I think I fell out of just because of my attentions having to go elsewhere. But I definitely would say like reading, writing, creativity. I guess that's the thing. Creativity and being imaginative was very easy for me, and I think it got harder as I grew up because of some certain conditions that I was in, and just the limited nature of my conditions. But as I've been able to finally flourish in era, I don't want to say flourish yet, but as I'm getting into a space where it's possible for me to flourish, it's been getting a lot easier. And so I'm going, I want to cultivate this while I can. And yeah, when was the last time I didn't feel beautiful, and why? Honestly, the last time I didn't feel beautiful was literally when I took my braids out. I took my braids out and I washed my hair, but then I stopped taking care of it. As soon as I stopped taking care of my hair, bro, I was like, oh my God, I'm ugly as hell. Because my hair gets messy as shit, bro. Like, this is not, like, this is like, it's not, I know it's not the worst. And usually when I'm like looking at like pictures and stuff that my friends take care of me and stuff like that, they're not the worst in the world. But it's like, I'm like, damn, I know it could be better. Like, I know I've looked better. You know what I mean? Like, I've looked better than this. So I'm like, fuck, I gotta do more. Like, I gotta lock in. But I've been so, all, like I said, grieving, and like my mind has not really been on looking beautiful. So it's like I'm not even like really being like, I'm not being harsh on myself. Like, I could care less. Like, I barely have been out the house, and even when I'm out the house, I'm with people that I'm comfortable with, and I'm not looking to impress anybody or myself, because that's what I get a lot. Usually people are like, or it's not even people, like usually I speak to my homegirl and she'd be like, oh well, just you should do it for yourself. But it's like, but I'm comfortable. You know what I mean? I'm good with how I look. I'm fine. And I understand why I look the way I do, because my focus is on other stuff, and I'm not exactly in the best emotional state right now. So my looks is the last thing I'm worried about. I'm not even saying her specifically, just in general. Like, some people don't get that. Like, they think, oh well, you should just do it because so you feel better, but that wouldn't make me feel better right now. It's not even in my top three in hierarchy of needs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm good. I'll probably, I'm gonna start doing my hair again soon, and start playing around with it soon, or cutting it. Cutting it is still on the table. But no matter what I decide to do, I'm comfortable. I'm cool, because there's so many more things that are important to me and that are on the docket for me than my hair. But yeah. How have you been asked to change? Man, how have I been asked to change? I've been asked to change. Well, I don't think I've been asked to change recently, to be honest. Everyone close to me is pretty accepting of who I am. Sometimes I ask myself, do I want to change? And do I want to change for the sake of the people I care about, the people I love? And even just the state of the world is like, what can I do to change? I've been asked to change by being more cognizant of the what's going on around me, being more involved in my community, being more involved in the change, in changing things, like it's easy to be passive. It's easy to just be nihilistic about everything, but to actually stand up and make a difference, or even attempt to make a difference, that's important. I think that's where I've been called to change, and I'm more than willing to make that change. I think that's important. I think it's important. I think it's important to change. Change is a part of life. Change is, you don't want to be stagnant. And yeah, how have I kept myself safe? I've kept myself safe by, I wouldn't say in the healthiest of ways. I've been prone to isolating myself. I've been prone to just sticking to what I know, being more closed off. Like I said, being a bit more jaded, leaning towards isolating, things of that nature. I am working on finding a balance between my safety and vulnerability as just a creator, as a person who wants to be more vulnerable and be more open, and be inviting into my world, and invite myself into other people's worlds. I'm gonna work on, honestly, I'm gonna work on being less safe and less cautious and more emboldened to be out there, put myself out there. Yeah, I think this is gonna end, or this is gonna cut off soon. So this is the part 1 of the self-love edition. Be safe, stay dangerous, drink water, love yourself, love those who love you, and I will catch you in the next one. Love you. Bye.